Right. Morning, class. How are you? Amazing. How are you? Right. Welcome to today's lesson. Today we are looking at a topic, measurements. And we are looking at measurement of quantities. I want to know from you the quantities that we measure in our day-to-day lives. Which quantities do we measure at home? Which quantities do we measure at home? Mass. We measure mass at home. What instrument do we use to measure mass? My name is
A scale.
A scale, that's correct. And what are the units for measuring mass? The units for measuring mass, Bimbai? Kilograms. What else? Grams, that's correct. What else? Yes. Milligrams. Let's clap hands for ourselves. Right. What other measurements do we take at home? Other measurements. Kanyara. Water. What do we use to measure water? We use a jug. What else do we use to measure water? Yes, buckets. Right? What else? Carrot? A cup. Right. But today we want to look at instruments that we use in the laboratory to take measurements. Can someone identify instruments that are used in the laboratory to take measurements? Yes.
Measuring cylinder.
Measuring cylinder. Bradley, what do we use each to measure?
Measure volume of liquid.
To measure volume of liquids. That's very correct. Can you clap hands for Bradley? Right. What else? What else do we use in the laboratory? What else? Maybe a scale. Right? This is the scale. We use a scale in the laboratory. So what do we use to measure? Yes, the quantity that we measure using a scale, by mass. Right? That's correct. And we have this instrument here. What is this instrument? Tinoten?
Thermometer.
A thermometer. What do we use a thermometer for?
Measuring temperature.
There are two types of thermometers. Do we know the two types of thermometers that we have?
Yes.
What are the two types of thermometers that we know? The two types of thermometers that we know. Carol? Maximum thermometer. Yes.
Minimum thermometer.
Minimum thermometer.
We have 6 thermometers.
6 thermometer. And in the laboratory we have got two main types that we use. We use a laboratory thermometer, which is used to measure the external temperatures. We also use it to measure temperatures when we heat substances, right? We also have a clinical thermometer. Do you know what we use a clinical thermometer for? Do we know? Manelis?
For taking the body temperature.
For measuring body temperature. That's very correct, right? And we have this instrument. Can someone identify this type of instrument? Right. This is called a burette. Right? It measures the volume of liquids in the laboratory. We are going to demonstrate how to use a burette in the laboratory, right? So we use this burette when we are doing titrations. A burette is used when we are doing titration. Right. We also have a quantity called time. Time. Which instrument do we use to measure time? The instrument that we use to measure time, Cherith, is stopwatch. That's very correct. What are the units of measurement of time, Tapiwa?
Seconds.
Seconds? What other units do we use when we want to measure time? Hours, that's correct.
Minutes.
Minutes, Bradley, that's correct. Days, that's very correct, right? So we want to get into groups. And we want to take as many measurements as we can using these apparatus that we have. Right? Let's organize ourselves and get into groups. Let's quickly get into groups so that we can do practice.